my good friend Jaya Jackson. How you doing?
Are we starting?
We're about to.
Okay. Let me put my phone away.
Also, this coffee's so good. Ugh. I'm telling you, I was prepared. I left my notebook at home.
Oh no.
I usually do it on my iPad, but I was like, I think my iPad was dead, so I was like, started.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so everything's gonna be up here. Try
Okay.
to remember, and yeah. All right, and then
right.
correct me if I do anything wrong.
Will do.
So, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Double S Podcast. Today, I'm here with a person that's been working for 2 whole years now at New Life Church. She does media. She sings. She also makes great coffee, which it's good. And she's also going to become a psychologist, counselor for middle schoolers, right?
Just children.
Children's
Yeah.
in general. Today I got the privilege to do Jaya Jackson. Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. Hi.
It's so new. Are you related to the Jackson 5?
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Oh.
You know, me and my brother used to tell like kids up until middle school really that we were related to like Trevor Jackson because he was on Disney Channel at the time, and that was my Jackson 5. But no, I'm not.
I'm gonna sound so uncultured. Who's Trevor?
He's from what's the movie? Let It Shine. No, he was on Austin Alley. He didn't have like his own like show or anything, so he was like a guest star.
Wasn't he the dancer? Like he's always dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, then I do know. Yeah. Okay, he did pop up on Kicking It. That's the one I grew up with. But tell me about what you do mostly. You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, I
Does
do.
it get stressful sometimes?
It can be, but I mean, I have an amazing youth team. So I am the youth director, and I also am the social media director. I have another job, which is kind of like database management, but I don't really talk about that as much
What is
because
that?
that's so behind the scenes. But it's so good because I love I get to exercise my organizational skills, and I love that. So that's over like Planning Center. I don't know if you've heard of like Church Center, our website management, any of like the data entry, like getting like first time guests in the door. That's all me. So yeah, I'm in charge of a lot, like the weekly emails that we send out, any like mass text messages that we send out. That's all me. And then social media, which is like my day-to-day, everyday job. And then youth directing. I mean, that's my everyday. That's like my main job, but it's so like flexible because we only have like motion night once a month. But the prep up to that is just, it's crazy. And then camp, like prep is totally insane. But I'm fortunate enough to have a youth team, so they're great, and I love them. So,
Aw.
yeah.
How do you find time spending with God with all these
Man.
avenues?
I'm a person that loves routines, so it really is like an intentional thing. It's not even about like finding the time, like, because if I didn't make the time for it, I just wouldn't have the time. But like I have a daily routine, and it changes like throughout the week, depending on the day. Because I work from home some days, and then I'm in the office some days. We have meetings, and then I have my own meetings with my team, and then I have practice, and so prayer, just all these things. But when I'm home, I'm like, okay, this is me time, and then it's Jesus time. Like that's it. So I do have a good like separation, and so when I wake up, like I love my phone. Like I really don't go anywhere without it, and I just love it. I don't know. It might just be a Gen Z thing. I don't know, but I used to be so attached to it to where like I'd wake up and I'd go on TikTok or Instagram. Like social media was like the first thing that I'd see when I'd wake up. And I remember someone. We had a guest speaker like teach a sermon here a few years ago, and he challenged us to like first thing in the morning when you wake up, open up your Bible instead of your phone. And for me, that was kind of hard because like my alarm is on my phone, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for like, I think it was like 21 days or something. So for 21 days, I just developed and created that habit of picking up my Bible first. So I make time for God first thing in the morning. Like before I've even like wiped the sleep out of my eyes, it's just like, okay, Lord, let me find my glasses, and then it's me and you. And so usually that's just like just structured time of like prayer, and then just reading whatever he puts in my heart, or if I'm studying like a certain book of the Bible, or just whatever I feel led to do in that moment. And then I also do that like right before bed. So I'll have like my cup of tea, and I don't like tea, but it's just part of my routine now that it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. But it helps. Yeah. So I have my tea and my Stanley full of water, and I just read the Bible, say one last prayer, and then I go to bed. Yeah. Some nights. So.
Well, this is not, was it called a sponsor from Stanley? So, but what's one advice that you can give to a youth that's like maybe listening and they're like, how can I start building a relationship or make a routine? How can they do that? How did you start?
I mean, I started at a very young age, like early middle school, if not elementary school. But I started just, first I like kind of wrote down my routine. Like I'm a note taker. So you'll always see me with like either my phone to take notes on, my iPad, or a notebook. And I keep things, like every note or journal or Bible that I've ever been given, I still have it. But I wrote down like what my day looks like. Not like, this was when I was in school and not working, so it was totally different. But just start with writing it down. And I mean, it says write it down, make it plain, but that's out of context. But I mean, honestly, like I feel like it applies because like sometimes you just don't know until you like see it. Yeah. And so write down what you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. And then you'll see, okay, well, I can adjust this here, or maybe I don't need to do this, or maybe I can spend less time doing this so I can make more time for God. And then my advice to a youth or a teenager on where to start in building the relationship with Jesus, I mean, you have to know that you want it first. It can't just be like, okay, like my friends have a relationship with Jesus, my parents go to church, like, because that, I mean, for me, it was part of my routine. Like, I grew up in church, I grew up in ministry, and I love it, but it took me wanting to know him for myself. And so it's kind of one of those things that, like, it's not like this coming to God moment where it's like, oh my gosh, like the heavens just opened up and like the light is shining on me, and it's like, okay, Lord, I really want to like know you. It was, for me, it was a really like quiet, intimate moment with Jesus. I just remember being at the altar and I was like, okay, Lord, like I want to know you for myself, and I want to know like what people say about you. I want to know that that's true. And so it just starts with knowing what your day looks like, and then allowing him to just fill those empty spaces, and just, you have to want it. And I feel like that's just like, I keep saying that, but like you really, it has to be in your heart, you know, not just your head.
Like you have to yearn for it.
Yeah.
Was there any time where you kind of just doubted in God?
There's been a few times. Mostly in my like adult life, like once I kind of hit 18 to like, I'm 22 now, which is so, that's so crazy. Like I feel like I'm still 21. Yeah. But from 18 to about 21, there's like a few moments, and it's kind of just like those circumstantial moments where it's like, okay, Lord, my life doesn't really look the way that I thought it would, Like, this is not my plan. And it was just like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing this wrong? You know, like, where are you, Lord? Like, just questioning him almost. And every time he humbles me. It's so funny. Because he's so good about that. And he's like, he's not aggressive. He's not like mean, or like, he's not going to bully you. It's just like, just like, oh, when's the last time you read your Bible?
Yeah.
Or when's the last time you talked to me and like didn't ask me for something? So there have been moments of doubt, and usually it's like something happened to me or something didn't go the way that I thought it would, and I kind of run away from him. So, but then he always comes back. And
In that time where you were in doubt, was it because you let your own flesh take over? Like you let your mind, like, oh, I can do it. Was it because of that? Because like for me, I have done that so many times where, not to get into specific, but there was a relationship that I should have never gone into, and like we were doing good because we were reading the Word of God and we were going into it. The thing is that like I let my mind take over instead of letting God like navigate it, and so that's where I'm like I get humbled by God. And so that's why I'm asking. And I was like, was it because you let your mind take over? Or was it just because you're like, oh, like, I'm okay right now. God's right here with me. And then you go play around the playground. And then you fall. Was it because of like that? Or
I think for me, it was more like I kind of let like the self-doubt win. And so it wasn't like I was like overconfident and like, okay, Lord, like I don't need you or anything like that. It was just, it was the opposite really of like, like I can't do this on my own, but like, where are you, Lord? And like, I would, instead of, running to him, I'd run further away. And that's when like the doubt would creep in. And then it was also like the people around me were influencing me in ways, I mean, I just didn't want to be influenced. And so it was like, okay, well, and then the comparison kind of creeped in. So it was like, I see this person doing this and like, I don't think I can do that. And I can't sing like them. I can't speak like them. And so it always started with comparison for one. And then it was just like, I can't, or I don't, or just those I sentence statements that like, they just eat you up. Yeah. And so that's what it was for me. And then, I mean, I had a few like people doubt me and like express that doubt to me, but thankfully I'm not in that like
headspace
relationship anymore with those people. So yeah.
No. There's a youth and you see the same patterns that you went through. What would you tell them?
I mean, I'm not like, even in this leadership position that I'm in, I'm not the kind of person that's going to give unsolicited advice. So usually like, I like to start with one, I have to have a relationship with this youth. I like for my youth, kids, that's so like counteractive calling them kids, but I like for my kids to know me, and feel like they can talk to me. So I would honestly probably wait until they approach me, unless I see them like really struggling and just, this is not a good road, but I'm always first, I'm always going to pray about it, because I'm not always going to know what to say. Like I'm not that person that I can just like, hey, come here, like let's talk. It takes a lot of reflection and just asking the Lord, like, okay, Lord, use your words, not mine, for one. And just speak through me. So whatever you want me to say, I'll say, but it needs to come from you. Yeah. And so, one, letting the Lord lead my steps. And then just like pulling them to the side, not like this super obvious moment of like, hey, like you, come here, like never to like call them out, but just a casual check-in. And just ask them questions. I love asking questions in any situation, any circumstance. It doesn't matter how old they are. Like I'm going to ask them about themselves. And so in those moments of me asking them questions, they're going to reveal something. Whether they know it or not, that's up to them. But usually when you ask the right questions and people respond, they show you who they are. And so when I see that of like, hey, like I can tell you're struggling, you might not be showing it or it might not just be like reflecting right now, but this path that you're going down is not healthy. And so like before it gets to that like bottom of the pit, moment, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
So I would pray on it, and then I would pray for them, So I'm asking questions, I'm talking to them, and then I'm not gonna be like, okay, like you need to do this, you need to do that, talk to this person, like I have a good therapist for you. No, I'm not gonna do that. But to my friends, I would. But
That's wrong.
there you go. But I will give them like just some
Support.
scripture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Support.
Like when's the last, or I'll just ask them like, what's the last like Bible verse that you read? What's the last like time that you prayed, or what's the last worship song you listened to? So just kind of figuring out where they are in their spiritual walk, because they're teenagers, so they're not going to be emotionally intelligent yet or mature. So
gotcha. Ooh, what's the scripture that you go back running to?
Me personally, I am a Philippians 4:13 girl, always and forever. Is I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I love, I think it's Jeremiah. I can't remember the specific verse right now, but for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to, I can't stop. It makes me emotional, but those are like the two, like my anchor verses. And I just love any like verse about like the goodness of God or just his everlasting peace. But those two specifically, I mean, those have carried me literally from, I feel like the moment I could talk until now. Like they're so simple, but they're so effective. And I'm a back to the basics kind of person. So it's like why am I trying to do all this extra stuff when it's literally right there? Like it says it in the word, like I can do all things. So there's no, like this fear, this anxiety doesn't have a hold on me. So yeah, those are the two that I just, cause even in those moments of doubt of like, okay, Lord, like I'm not where I want to be, or, life isn't looking the way that I dreamt it would. I go back to that. I know the plans I have for you. Only he knows. And so it's like, okay, Lord, like I want your plan, your will, your way, whenever you want it. And so kind of just like, that always humbles me, because it's like, okay, it's not my timing, even though I want it to be, but his timing is so good. So
do you get frustrated sometimes on waiting?
I feel like in the past I used to, but now I'm really good at just like sitting in that moment of like, okay, Lord, this is confusing, like what am I doing? What do you want me to do? I don't think that I get frustrated. I think it's just like I just want him to answer, even if he doesn't specifically tell me. So I wouldn't say I get frustrated about like that. But I do, like, that always causes me to just reflect and just be quiet. Like, for me, that's really hard. Depending on the person, like, I love to talk. And so when those moments come, I just have to, like, turn off the music, turn off the noise and just, like, sit and let him speak for a change. So.
Yeah. Now, there's times for me, especially, I used to get frustrated a lot, especially last year. Again, there was a moment where, like, I was talking to God. I'm like, yo, if this thing isn't for me, let it be. But for me, my relationship with God, I feel like sometimes he likes to clown on me. Because, like, he tells me, he's like, don't go for it. But then I go there, go for it. And then he's like, you made your decision. We're going to see how it plays out. It plays out. And I remember just praying about it. And that thing happened. I was like, wow, it happened. Like, I think it happened under a week. And I was like, dang, God. It's very like humbling, where sometimes you get frustrated on God's timing, but then he needs you to wait a little bit more. And I don't know, it's just very interesting. Just hearing yours.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's really cool though, because I think like especially like in those waiting seasons or whatever, God has a sense of humor. Like he's so funny. And like sometimes you just don't realize that. But he's also so gracious in that way of like he's in control, right? Like he created the heavens and the earth. Like he knows what he's doing, and so he already knew how that was going to play out for you. But
he was like,
he lets us have our freedom, and he lets us make choices.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we recognize that it's not the right choice, and we go back to him, I feel like that's like
it's
so
better.
rewarding for him. So yeah,
it really is. So much questions comes to mind. It's just like, which one should I choose? Have you ever hit rock bottom?
Like just in life.
In life,
I don't think so. I mean, for one, I feel like I'm too young to just like I'm just getting started, and I feel like I keep going back to that. Like I turned 22 2 weeks ago, and everyone's been calling me old, and like it's fun. Like I can laugh about it, but it's like I'm like at the beginning. Like I am basically a 2-year-old, y'all. Like
you're just starting.
I'm literally just getting started. Like he's not done with me, and so that to me is so comforting. So I don't like. I've had moments of like, okay, like I'm in a moment of darkness right now, Lord. Like I need you, and He always shows up. He always comes through, and so I don't think that I've ever hit rock bottom. I feel like I've just had moments of darkness, but He's always pulled me out.
Oh, why did you choose counseling out of everything?
So I chose educational psychology. I started off with just psychology, like general psychology, when I first, went to college. But I actually don't know what made me choose educational psychology specifically, but I chose psychology because I remember like being in high school, like early high school, and like 9th grade maybe, and I was watching the show, and I couldn't even tell you the name of it right now, but it was like a sitcom almost, and this kid was like the main character had autism, and I remember like his therapist was just so like, it was just, the relationship was just unethical, and like she really wasn't helping him in the way that he needed, I felt like. And so I was like, this is so sad to watch. Like nobody is advocating for this kid. And this is a TV show, mind you. Like this is not real, but it felt like I know that there's people out there that go through this, they have disabilities or mental health issues, and they just don't have an advocate. And so I was like, I want to be that person for someone. I want to like show the love of Jesus through my life for them. And so just being able to walk with people, specifically like teenagers and kids, and just give them someone to talk to, just a friendly face, and yeah, even I feel like that's like my motto of like just for life. Like that's why I'm in leadership. It's I feel like leadership chose me. I didn't really choose leadership. Yeah. I kind of was like placed in positions of leadership as I like grew up. But they've been such like learning opportunities for me, because I just know like I love to help people in any way that I can. But specifically just like standing up for my youth, not in like conflict moments or whatever, but just like, hey, like I see that you're going through this, or what's going on, let's talk about this, how's your week, especially in like this generation, they just they need more guidance, I feel like.
Absolutely. They really do. How do you unwind?
How do I unwind? Let's see, I love TV. Like I love sitcoms and like rom-coms, and I don't watch many rom-coms as I do sitcoms, but like mostly any sitcom that's like out there, like I've watched it at least once. So
except for that ranch one that we were talking about.
Yellowstone, that doesn't count. Sorry, Kobe. But I unwind. Honestly, just like being in my room. Like I'll light a candle. Playing the piano is really soothing to me, even if I'm not like not doing it to like learn a song or anything, but just to play. Like my go-to song is Great Are You, Lord. I could play that eyes closed, turned around, upside down, whatever. And just worshiping, actually. I feel like I'll get in my car, I'll leave work, like after a really long day, and I'm just like, okay, like I know what I need. Like I need to talk to the Lord. And so I unwind with worship. It just always calms me down. Like no matter what, like I can just get on my knees and just talk to him and just thank him. And if not that, then watching like one of my, like I like to rewatch shows. So very rarely will I watch a new show, but I'll rewatch any show.
What's the show that you're rewatching?
Right now I'm rewatching Grey's Anatomy. But so yeah, like I'll do that. I'll have like a good little snack. And yeah, this is before I drink my tea and read my Bible though. So, but yeah, TV and like kind of just like disconnecting. Like I won't go on like social media, TikTok maybe, but like I'll turn my phone off and just, you know, distract myself, I guess.
One time she did an all-nighter, which was crazy.
Okay, but I was going back and forth between TikTok and Grey's Anatomy. But it's because like I've seen Grey's Anatomy so much that it's like I could tell you what Alex Karev is about to say. Like I know, so I just go on TikTok just to see what's up.
I used to do that with friends when I used to work at Subway, and for background noises, I'll put what's it called, Friends, and I would just repeat what they're saying.
Sitcoms are so good for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were they on the break, Ross and Rachel?
Yes. No. Wait, hold on.
Were they on the break?
Ross is the one that kept saying they were on a break, right?
Yes.
No, they weren't on a break. No, they were broken up.
That's a clickbait. Oh, wow. That's very, like, it's just, for me, I like, it's both. I don't know.
That's like a debate topic, really.
It really is. It's just, like, I understand from his standpoint, like, because she said, like, I'm done. I forgot what she says.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But she, in those terms, she's like, we're done. But then Ross was just, he's something else.
I think when you see it from like that dual point of view, like I get it from both perspectives, but
He still cheated.
I think it's just like the fact that he kept bringing it up. Like you don't have to keep justifying yourself.
Yeah, that was something, like, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm pretty sure my ex is watching this, but I used to do that a lot, like bring up old like fights, and that's something that I had to learn from my mom. She was like, "Why don't you just let it go?" I was like, "But like this point, it's this and this and this," and she was like, "Then you're not getting anywhere. You're just bringing everything back." And I'm just like, "You're the one that's causing the problem, not her." And I was like, "Oh." And yeah, well, it is what it is. We live and we learn.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's something. I don't know. What's your take on that?
On letting things go?
Yeah, letting, like, there's an argument with your significant other. Would you keep bringing it up? Or, like, let's say it's a similar argument. Would you bring it up? Like, oh, like last time, this and this, kind of the same situation, but different time, basically.
I mean, I can't speak to being like in a relationship or anything like that in that context. But I mean, like even in like a work environment, we have like every opportunity to be like, okay, but didn't you like do this last week and this and this? I tend to do that like if I'm joking, like with a friend or something. But if it was like an argument, I'm not gonna like throw it back in their face. And like for me, that's just kind of like period, like the end of the statement. Like I'm not gonna
waste my time.
Yeah, but like I'm also like not. Why am I gonna go out of my way to make you feel like bad or worse? You know. And like I just don't like hurting people, so I just even when I'm mad, like I'm gonna separate myself. Like 99% of the time, I'm gonna walk away, so that I can cool down, and then we can come back and talk about it like adults, you know.
Who taught you that? Or was it just nature?
I think I kind of just like it's just something that I've always done, you know. Like I just words hurt, and I know like what it feels like to be on the receiving end of someone like purposely trying to hurt you, even in a moment of anger. And so like I've just kind of always like known like I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to be that person that causes more hurt, especially with my words, because we have full control of what we want to say or what we're gonna say. And I know that things can get like heated and like sometimes words just fly out or whatever. But like in those moments, like you have the choice to walk away or do the other thing, you know? So I think it's just kind of something that I've observed and like learned, and I've been on the other end of it. So I'm like, in return, I'm not going to do that to someone else. So
For my final question, I'm not sure, but what do you look for a person?
like a friend or?
Yeah, a friend.
Oh, okay.
Let me make it clear. A friend. Yeah, like getting to know a new person.
If you would ask me that question like years ago, like in high school or like when I was first starting college, my answer would have been totally different. But now, like, I look at like their fruits. Like, what fruit are they producing, really? Like, one, do they love Jesus? Do they know him? Like, are they building a relationship with him? Because I feel like it's one thing to know him and like you can know of him but not know him, you know? And so do they have a relationship with Jesus, or are they trying to develop one, you know? Because I'm not going to like walk away from someone if they're like willing to learn, you know? Or like actively taking steps towards getting to know him more. But I just look at that first. Like, are they a Christian? Do they go to church? You know, like what is their like
lifestyle?
Yeah. Did they grow up in church? Not that would like determine if I'm going to be friends with them or not. But like, just kind of like knowing their past a little bit, like their history, as much as they'll like tell me. And just kind of like observing them with other people, like not necessarily like putting myself in that like spot of, okay, hey, we're friends now, like we're besties, like we got to go do this and this together. But just like seeing how they treat other people. So yeah, I look for like, not necessarily what they can give me, but just like, I don't know how to say that, but
what you can learn from each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Have you ever met a person that's been hurt by the church?
By the church?
Yeah. Not this church, but like like this church, I feel like everybody's just like happy. Like they have their moments, but like it's very like, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I came here it was just like filled with spirits. I was like, dude, it was very welcoming. It felt like a warm hug, and everybody was just so nice to me. But like, have you ever met a person that's been hurt by church?
Not like personally. Like I've heard of like stories of like my parents knowing people, you know, but I've never like directly met anyone that was church hurt. So yeah, not really. It's not something that I've experienced.
Yeah, I know that you're a planner, but if there was a person that has been hurt by the church, would you know what you would say?
I think it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Because there's so many like situations that could like, you never know what someone's been through in any like environment. So I think and that takes a lot for people to be vulnerable about, because no one wants to like talk about being hurt, you know. And so I think depending on the context, I would just I'd want to know if they'd be willing to talk about it. And then if it was my church, like my home church or something, I like want to know, like, okay, like not like who was it, like what they do, whatever, like
I'll get them expelled.
pointing the finger, no, but just like, okay, well, like how can I make this experience better for you? Yeah, like would you come back to church? Would you come to church with me? And just kind of building a relationship with that person one-on-one. Like, hey, like let's go to Starbucks. Let's have a Bible study together. Like we don't necessarily, like if you're not ready to go back to church,
it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. You know, like we can watch some online sermons or something. Yeah. Not me, I'm gonna go to church. But I'm not gonna like push someone, you know, or like force them, because some people do need to be pushed. But you do that with grace and with love and just gentleness and patience. But yeah, so I would just just kind of figure out where they're at, you know.
How do you know if they need a push?
I think that there's a obvious hesitation sometimes, depending on the person. And you can see, like, some people just have like a spirit of timidness. I don't know if that's a word. But like, if I can see that they're like, I don't know,
Like, I want to be in, but I don't want to be out.
Some people then it's, for me, a push is encouragement. And it's not like, okay, well, you need to do this because like I said so, like, it's not that to me. Like, that's not leadership to me. And so, I mean, a good leader knows when to push, and then they also know, like, how to push that specific person. And so I'm fortunate I know that a person needs to be pushed because I knew when I needed to be pushed, and I know, like, the person that pushed me to do that thing, I know how they did it. And so the way they did it is exactly what I needed. And so it's kind of just learning that person and just, like, really observing their actions. Like, if I can see in your face, like, you're like, no, I don't want to do this, I'm going to be like, okay, why? Like, because there's always a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just, like, a matter of, like,
time and patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, gosh.
This past Sunday, we had an amazing, phenomenal, spirit-led, I would say. Did you... That was unintentional, right? Yeah. Okay. I wish I could insert the video. I wish I could, but it was very good.
It was good, yeah.
But what was going through your head?
Honestly, like, in those moments where it's just like that raw, like, encounter with him, because we started with or we ended with
no one. Yeah.
And I mean, our congregation is so, right? It was no one, right? It was no one. Yes.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, we did the whole song though.
Yeah. I know.
That's why I'm like, was it?
Yeah.
But our congregation is so hungry. And so, like, when I see people, like, standing, like, they'll just wait and, like, they'll stay there after service and they're clapping, like, they're just locked in, and I love that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not, like, about them. And so when I see, like, I mean, on Sunday specifically, what was going through my head was just like, okay, we're talking about, like, there's no one greater than him, like, I know that, they know that. And I don't know, because I started singing Do It Again by Elevation Worship, the bridge. And I just, in my head, it was just like, the Lord just kept putting, like, Made a Way in my head, and I could not get it out. And I mean, like, I feel like I turned, like, my brain off, like, when I'm worship leading.
Yeah.
That sounds bad, but, like, it's not me. Like, it's all of him. And it's just like, okay, Lord, like, what do you, like, where are we going next, because I never want to make it about me. And so, like, I'm very careful in those moments of, like, me leading worship or whatever to just, like, okay, Lord, like, let's just sit for a little bit. Like, whatever comes up, comes up. Because the band had stopped playing. And I immediately went into, like, the bridge of Do It Again. And I just kept singing that. And it just kept building. Yeah. And, I mean, I feel like I wasn't even thinking. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what was going through my head.
I'm not going to lie. When everything was going on, my brain just went quiet. And it was so, like...
Peaceful?
Peaceful. That's what it was. Because, I remember we were just doing a praise breakdown. And we were just going at it. And it was so amazing. And I forgot what song we were doing. Because, like, I don't play more gospel. I don't play gospel.
Oh, The Devil Thought He Had Me?
That's the one, yeah. And Rob was just like... I was just listening to him. And I was like, oh, these are the chords. And I was just playing around. And then we go to Do It Again. And then where do we go after that one?
I have no idea.
I have no...
We did multiple songs.
Oh, wasn't it... Because I know that these were songs that you led before on worship night. I think
it's been different.
I Speak Jesus. I think. How does that bridge go? I don't even know. But there was a song that I was just singing in my head, and I was like, dude. And then you started singing as soon as I was singing. I was like, whoa. But it was just like very like spirit led, and I was like, I was very at peace, and I was like, whoa.
I think my favorite like moment out of that whole just like I don't want to call it like a session, but just that whole encounter, let's call it, was when like the room had just like gone quiet. Like we weren't singing anything. And I remember like I was on the floor and like I couldn't even look up and like look around, but I just remember like hearing the congregation.
Yes.
And I mean, people were crying, people were just like praying and just calling out to him. And that was my favorite moment, like from all of Sunday. It was so good.
Yeah, because I closed my eyes, like again, I wasn't even paying attention to the bass. Like I was just playing, and I just opened my eyes, and I'm just seeing everybody on their knees crying. I'm just like, yo. I was like, I don't know how we did it, but it's through the Holy Spirit that led us, and it was very amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that moment. I'm sorry. And then, I love when you were like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I love that part. I was like,
For me, that part though, I was thinking of Monday Morning Faith by SEU Worship. That is like, I play that song on a weekly basis, usually on Mondays, like when I'm driving into work, because it's just such a good reminder. And so, but I couldn't think of the lyrics to the song in the moment. And so I'm like, okay, like, but for me, it was so like you can't lead where you haven't been. And so I was like, okay, Lord, like when I just kept saying like, I remember just like repeating, like I talk to you every day. And like, just the congregation was just like responding to that. And then I was like, okay, like I talk to him every day on Sunday. And it was just such a flow moment. I remember like the rest of the band and the team just started picking it up, and it was like a building moment. It was so good.
It was so good. And then we finished on that note.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember now. There was a picture that happened, I think 3 years ago, that you worked with the band. I forgot the band's name. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Triangle City.
That's the one. Yeah. How was that experience? I'm not gonna lie. I did not look into it further. I just remember seeing a picture of Triangle City, and it was you and Rob.
Oh gosh.
So that was it.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. That was like, I feel like that's like the first time I've ever really stepped out like of my comfort zone, like outside of the ministry of this church. And I had a mutual friend, or two mutual friends, and I was invited to this live recording for Christmas. Never heard of any of these people, like never met them. They were all part of like different churches. And so it was like people from around like the state really. And I mean, I remember being so nervous, but I walked in and everyone was so friendly. And like, it's like, it kind of like feels like, like you open up a fresh like bag of cookies or something. It was just so warm. And like, I love like hype, like worship leaders. Like I love when you can tell that they love what they do. Like it's so evident. And so I walked in, I was like, oh, these people love Jesus and they love to worship. And I mean, that's still true to this day. Like they're doing amazing things. I know that they're touring and, releasing songs, and I mean, just getting to be a part of that first song was so special to me. Like I'll always carry that with me. And I made friends from that, like just people that are in ministry and leadership and worshipers, and that was so cool. And I got to do it alongside, someone that Rob. I don't know how else to say that, but like I got to do it, like I wasn't completely alone, so it was me and Rob, and we were invited by some mutual friends, and it was really cool. I remember like the day it came out, and like me and my parents were listening to it in the car, and it was so exciting to be like, yeah, like I was a part of something so big and so special. So yeah.
It's gonna be your second one that's gonna be big sooner or later, hopefully. I've been praying about it, and I just gotta stay consistent. So yeah. Well, thank you, Jaya, for your time.
Yeah.
Dang, it got so dark. It got so dark in here. And then until next time. Bye-bye.